right, parents, this is Mr. Reed. I have the distinct privilege of being your kids' science teacher this year. Now, one of the things that I have recognized only in the first couple of weeks is that there's just not enough time for science. And so I would love it if you could help reinforce some of the things that we're working on. So I'm going to give one thing for each of the grade levels, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, that maybe you can talk about with your kids. And we're going to start with Indian grass. So right here, you'll notice this all around. And so this is Indian grass, a very common native grass to Illinois here. And you'll see this maybe when you're driving around. I'm going to give you a few interesting facts here about Indian grass. So if you'll just stay tuned for, let's say, 3 minutes for this video, maybe you'll learn a couple things, and then when you're driving along the road and you happen to see it, maybe you can pick out the thing that happens to be the grade level your child or maybe your children are in. Okay, so if we take a look at our first standard, we're going to work backwards from 6th grade. The first one that we're going to look at is the flow of energy in an ecosystem. Now, 6th grade kind of has two. It's like how matter cycles in an ecosystem and how energy flows. The first one is the flow of energy, and Indian grass does that through these long leaves. So every plant kind of has different shaped leaves. Indian grass grows from 3 to 6 feet tall, and the leaves come out intermittently throughout that stalk, and you'll notice they're really kind of tough leaves. The plant uses photosynthesis to be able to store energy in cells, and then other animals eat that. So that begins the whole flow of energy. The energy comes from the sun, goes into the leaves of that plant, and that plant makes it useful to itself and other animals. The 5th grade standard that we're looking at is all about the flow of matter. Now, plants take in carbon dioxide. So we breathe out carbon dioxide, and plants breathe in carbon dioxide, and they use that to be able to capture carbon to help build their cell walls and to be able to make themselves taller and grow bigger. So that's how our 5th grade standard is met through Indian grass. Looking at our 4th grade standard, we can see that some of the things that we're really taking a look at and have been taking a look at is the fact that plants have these unique structures. Plants and animals do, but in the case of Indian grass, because it grows 6 to 8 feet tall, the seeds are really high, meaning that it's out of the way of a lot of predators. So where you have the smaller things like field mice that'll eat a lot of the seeds, and that Indian grass waves in the wind, and so it doesn't have the opportunity to be eaten by a lot of the same animals that lower plants would. And then, of course, the 3rd grade standard. We've been talking a lot about how different animals have these different life cycles, but they all have in common birth, growth, reproduction, and death. And of course, the reproduction piece is one of the things we've seen in our tank with the snails as they're starting to lay eggs. But you also see it with the Indian grass as it sprouts these seeds up top, and as fall comes along, you'll see that color start to change because they start to release those pods with the seeds in them start to open up, and they drop down, and then you'll see new growth next year because these plants are perennial. You'll have a chance to see brand new Indian grass. We're going to see if we can grow some in class from the stems that I brought, from the seeds that I brought in. Hopefully you learned something about science this week that you can share with your kids, and I'll see if I hear back from any of them that they actually learned something from you about science that's connected to what we're doing in class. Thank you so much for being a part of the learning that we're doing this year.